Joining me today is Jamie Liddell. He's the editor of Outsource magazine. Jamie, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
So Jamie, we've been following your magazine now for about a year, and you've been making some really great strides with it. Tell me, what do you have in store for us? What's coming up next?
Well, we've actually just put to bed our March issue, which has taken a lot out of me and everyone else involved, but it's a beauty. We're leading with a big story on InfoSec, why information security is important in outsourcing, what providers are doing to work with their clients to ensure that they're both safe and secure. We've got the second issue of our head-to-head series, which actually you christened last time around, and that's looking at two well-known sourcing advisory figures and just general market trends, really. A big feature on document management outsourcing. It's the most diverse issue we've put together. I'm really happy with it. We've got a big announcement about a new partner, actually, which ties in with an announcement made about you guys quite recently. So it's all pretty serendipitous. Very happy.
So in the magazine industry, the way you are, you're following all the trends, you're seeing the latest and greatest as they're coming out. What do you think the trends are today that we should be looking for?
Okay, so clearly the advent of a very dynamic cloud-focused model is something that has seized the market's attention over the past year or so. It's really been, last 6 months to a year has been the time of cloud so far. We can come on to that in a minute. I think a move into the SME or SMB sector is absolutely happening. I think what's happened amongst the providers recently is that you've seen maybe a decline in the amount of big deals, the mega deals that we've been talking about for so long. A lot of people understand outsourcing now. A lot of big companies have already outsourced a lot of their functions. So I think now providers are having to look really at smaller businesses and how they can tailor products for that. And again, some of that's tying in with the rise of cloud, because obviously that allows a lot more kind of easy and relatively cheap, comparatively cheap interaction with companies that might not be able to afford a massive scale over 5 or 6 year outsourcing deal, but certainly could involve themselves in a much smaller scaled down and possibly cloud-based type thing. So that's definitely a big trend that we're seeing. And I think on a kind of geopolitical level, obviously the unrest in the Middle East has made a lot of people question perhaps current or future offshoring decisions. I think people, there tends to be a flight to quality in times of financial stress. There's also a flight to quality in times of unrest. And actually a lot of those countries that we've seen unrest in recently, especially Egypt, which had really touted itself as a big sourcing destination over the past couple of years, but also including Libya. Ironically, just before the Libyan, I hesitate to call it a revolution, kicked off, but we had we had a Libya feature planned and commissioned and some Libyan advertising. We had to pull all that out of the March issue for obvious reasons. Yeah. But it just shows how countries in that area, which can still play a big kind of labour arbitrage card, have suddenly found themselves thinking, okay, maybe we need to pull back on this one and wait to see what the dust settles. And actually, I think probably that's going to have a real knock-on impact for other second-tier provider destinations. I think you'll see more people maybe feeling safe and secure in India and the Philippines and China, and there's existing very big destinations. And also, you'll find a lot more companies now are going to be really hesitant about offshoring at all, I think. Mm-hmm. So maybe keeping more expensive but more secure sourcing activity within the US or the UK or France or Germany or other sourcing destination economies. So that's something that we're really keeping a close eye on. And I think that's probably going to be ongoing. I mean, the news today is indicative that that's not calmed down in that region anytime soon.
Yeah, I think you're right. Next 3 to 5 years, what do you think we're going to see in the outsourcing market?
Okay, so I think I'm definitely looking at some consolidation amongst the big players.
Any predictions there?
I'm not going to go that far. I don't feel confident enough to put those cards on the table, but I think we'll definitely see some consolidation. I think you'll see a lot of the big Indian majors move to acquire, their smaller competitors, whether at home or abroad. As I said, I think cloud model is definitely going to be really pushing the boundaries of what's possible in sourcing and how the pricing model for outsourcing works, which is obviously a big thing, not just for the providers, but for the buyers as well. It completely changes really if it's done correctly. And actually, we've got some content from HFS researchers, Ewan Davis, in the March issue looking at what the impact of cloud might be on outsourcing. But it really does change the game for people looking to buy services, people looking to buy lines of delivery. So definitely 3 to 5 years, you'll see a maturing of that. I think one of our magazine ideologies, if you like, is that you can outsource everything. You shouldn't necessarily outsource everything, but you can. So I think the introduction of new, big emphasis sectors of outsourcing. BPO is such a diverse thing now, but there's a lot of things that you can still go on and outsource. I think a real big growth in the RPO market we're going to be looking at. I think HRO generally will definitely kind of play down into the SME sector in a big way. I think you'll have a shake-up in the IT sourcing delivery sector. I think, again, some acquisitions there. I think it's going to be really exciting times. 3 to 5 years, obviously, also hopefully will coincide with a significant uptick in the global economy. So as that happens and more money becomes available for discretionary products, and more companies feel ready and able to tackle big transformation like outsourcing involves, you will see that tends to drive a lot of innovation. When there's more money floating around, there's also a lot more activity in terms of pushing the boundaries of what's possible. So actually, I think you're looking at, I hesitate to use the phrase golden age, but we're in one already.
So when we talk about market aggregation and people buying up smaller firms, do you think they're going to be filling out the niche type offerings, or do you think they're going to be finding and buying more of the same? Do you see them trying to round out all their offerings? Definitely
trying to round out. I mean, in terms of an equivalent would be the recent acquisition of Equiterra by KPMG. Right now, I know that's in the advisory side rather than the actual kind of delivery service side, but you've got KPMG now acquiring some really good talent within Equiterra that actually was doing things which KPMG couldn't do by itself. Mm-hmm. It's brought in all of that. It's brought in some real good and very skilled people, and as a result, now can basically pretty much call itself the biggest sourcing advisory body on the planet, and is doing so, I think. So I think that kind of thing where you go after people and you go after certain products and you go after certain abilities that don't necessarily exist within your company is going to be a very big thing. And I think, when you look at some of those majors, they already do all that stuff anyway. They might buy out. They might actually tend now to make acquisitions based on a more strategic requirement to maybe get into new locations or to go after specific individual talent as well, I think. But certainly on the kind of second tier front, when those companies are making acquisitions, it's going to be for niche skills, I think. Interesting. So we have a lot of CPOs, obviously, that are involved in SIG. Mm-hmm. How do you, or what do you advise a procurement organization to do to get invited to be at the outsourcing table? Well, I saw this and I thought, well, hang on a minute. Maybe the question's the other way around. What should outsourcing be doing to be invited to the procurement table? Right? If they recognize the value, yes. Yeah. Procurement outsourcing is a big thing. So the transformation required to do that and the effort required to do that is pretty phenomenal. If you choose to go down that route, you're looking at giving some pretty hefty areas of your company outside your control. And I think so one of the things that needs to be done is probably preparing for that kind of change and ensuring that the support is there and ensuring that the right reasons are there as well. In terms of how procurement can kind of assist in, to go from the other direction, how procurement can assist in making outsourcing better and making outsourcing more efficient. Well, I think the skills that procurement leaders have are absolutely crucial. Certainly in price negotiation, there's no point outsourcing something if you're not going to get a fair deal from it, right. And that works both ways as well. And I think also the experience that running very complex supply chains and dealing with a lot of different organisations, the experience of how international business is changing is probably at the sharper end in procurement than it is anywhere else. So I think those kind of skills and that kind of talent, are crucial for outsourcing, basically. So you have an announcement. You'll be coming out something around HFS. Yes. Can you share anything about that? I will. Well, in serendipitous co-synchronicity, if that makes sense, with you guys, HFS is wonderfully partnered up with us. They're going to be our research partner. We're going to be their partner magazine, their partner print title. And I think Phil First's a wonderful guy. I think his team's wonderful. I know a lot of them already. They're going to have some pages in the magazine every issue. I'm somehow going to be writing a column on Phil's site, so obviously that fills me with a lot of trepidation. Mm-hmm. But generally, it's going to be a really nice partnership for us. And actually, what's wonderful about it is as well, now that you guys have launched this great relationship, that kind of brings us sort of hopefully closer into the SIG community as well, which is good to us. And we want to keep you close in the SIG community. Let's hope so. Yes. So two things. When you registered for the event, our last summit, you said you wanted to make sure that you received eco-flattering and regal treatment. How have we been doing so far? Marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. The hotel's great and the service has been spectacular so far. Good. Well, thank you. Thank you for your time today. I'm glad you were able to join me.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Dawn Evans, and we'll see you next time.